Easter was Morning Live. Thanks so much for watching. Now, earlier on in the program, we spoke to Noncedo Madubedube from Equal Education regarding the High Court in Pretoria reserving judgment in an urgent application that to compel the Basic Education Department to resume its national school nutrition program to all learners. The program, which feeds 9 million learners, was suspended in March due to the lockdown. And now let's get a reaction to this from Dr Faith Khumalo, who is Chief Director for Care and Support at the Department of Basic Education. Dr. Khumalo, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, what is the department's comment on the reserve judgment?
Well, I think the department, like Equal Education and the other Section 27 have taken the department to court, are awaiting the judgment when it comes out, and like we always do, we will apply whatever action comes out of that. We feel it might not really have been necessary to go this route because we believe that we have the same intentions with the organizations that have taken us to court. We all want the best for our children. We all actually intended, and we're already implementing the National School Nutrition Program. And so it really, I think, is a matter of lack of clarity of where things were. And everyone has a right to approach the as they did, isn't it? And so it's something that we've accepted, but we will hopefully work together into the future to make sure that ultimately what we all intend, children are supported, are added meals, and can learn is achieved at the end of the day, because that's why we're here.
Doctor, of the 9 million or so learners who are supposed to be fed at schools, how many at this present moment are actually receiving meals from the school nutrition program?
Okay, so you will remember that when schools reopened, we brought in grade 12s as well as grade 7s. And so that was about 1.6 million children who came back to school. And since they returned to school, all those that were beneficiaries of the school nutrition program have been receiving meals in the school. What then has happened is that the provinces have worked out plans to ensure that those that are not yet back at school are able to get their meals through various means. And as you can understand, primarily we have to also deal with issues of COVID-related measures and protocols. No gatherings, the social distancing, the increased hygiene protocols that we have to put in place. And so it really became important that provinces have the leeway to see how they could do these things. And so the very last province that has come on board was Limpopo on the 25th of June. But the other provinces have been providing meals to all learners that are able to come as of last week, Monday. Part of the challenge is also that we needed to communicate to parents and caregivers and communities that the learners can now come to school to get their meals, because, as you understand, it has always been a school-based nutrition program for learners that are in school. And given the peculiar and, novel circumstances we find ourselves now, we are having to find other ways to do what we ordinarily would have done in schools, but for those learners that need the meals to come in and get them. So some of them come in a staggered way to come and pick up their meals, cook meals at school. Some come and are provided the meals and they actually eat there. Others are getting food parcels, either at the school or through other community structures. But we've also made it possible for children, particularly those that go to school a bit far from where they live, that you don't have to go to the school at which you are registered. You can go to the school closest to you and be able to pick up your meals there. And so this is all the efforts that we are making to make sure that we reach all of those 9 million learners. At the moment, we can't reach every single one, but it's something that we're working towards. And we need, our communities, and now is also an opportunity for us to really say so, that if your child was a beneficiary of the school nutrition program and they are not yet back at school, please make sure that they go to their school or the school closest to them that is providing school meals, and they will receive their meals.
So in the previous interview, we spoke about public accountability, amongst other things, Dr. Khumalo, and the department has blamed the delay on logistical and economic challenges as a result of the lockdown. Schools reopen on the 8th of June and more grades are set to return next week. Will all those meals be delivered, or will all those children who are part of the program receive those meals next week?
Yes, they will. You know, none of us can dispute the need that we have and the rights of children to get education, their rights to nutrition, and the very rights in their constitution. The reality of the matter, though, is that when the schools were closed as part of the lockdown, we didn't have the institutional capacity to provide meals in schools because schools were closed. And so when the department started planning with the provinces for the reopening, the nutrition program was always a key priority for that work. And so it was always the intention of the department to provide the school meals, but we needed to get things ready. So to answer your question directly, those learners that benefit from the program that are coming back to school, they will get their meals in school as per usual. The other ones that are not yet back on stream will get their meals in the manner that I have described previously, in terms of dealing with them that they are not back at school, through either getting cooked parcels or food parcels periodically.
And with regard to those food parcels, just as a parting shot, are you absolutely satisfied, Dr. Khumalo, that those food parcels have actually reached their intended recipients?
We believe that we have reached the intended beneficiaries. It is not our most favored way of providing the food, we have to admit, because when we are able to cook the meals and provide them as food, then we are able to make sure that the nutritional quality of each meal is optimum. And so when you get a food parcel, if that's the only way that we can get it, we know that the learners will take the parcel back home, and we understand that therefore it will be shared amongst the family. And it may well be that they might not get the full allocation in terms of the 30% of their nutritional needs that we're able to provide. So we really are, as far as it's possible, we would want them to come and receive their meals in school. But as we do that, we all must adhere to the COVID-related protocols and measures. Kids must please have their masks on when they come, because I find that seems to be also one of the problems.
And you say that's one of the problems, wearing the masks. Were those masks not allocated? Were they not given to learners?
No, the masks were given to learners who are back in school, remember. Those were getting, so I'm talking about those learners that are not yet back in school, that are still at home. Those would not have been back in school if their masks. They will get their masks as we phase in the additional cohorts of learners. So the ones that I'm talking about, those that are directly from home, are not requiring them to full uniforms. All we're saying is that if you have been on the program, please come and get your meals at school. And like we are all expected to do when we are out in public, we all wear face coverings or masks. And so that's what we're asking for the parents and the learners to do when they come in.
Right, we're going to leave this one here because we're going to be talking more education-related matters throughout the show. So thank you to Dr. Faith Khumalo, Chief Director, Care and Support at the Department of Education, responding to Equal Education's High Court challenge, compelling the department to resume the National School Nutrition Program to all learners. The program was suspended in March due to the lockdown, has since resumed, and of course we'll keep our eye on these developments as judgment has been reserved.